Wait. Don't skip this message. That person who helped you last week might have been God standing right in front of you. Your eyes locked with the Creator's gaze, but you didn't realize who was really there. This isn't make-believe, this is about real moments when the divine showed up in your daily life wearing ordinary clothes. The greatest secret is hiding in plain sight. Regular people you pass every day might not be who they appear to be. Some are heavenly visitors checking on you, delivering messages, or providing exactly what you need at the perfect moment. God has been closer than you ever imagined, sometimes even speaking through the voice of a stranger. Today your eyes will finally open to these divine visits that have been happening your whole life. This missing piece explains everything: why certain random meetings changed your path forever, why strangers sometimes knew exactly what to say, why help arrived precisely when you needed it most. Think about that moment when someone's advice saved you from disaster. Remember when a person appeared from nowhere during your darkest hour. Recall the stranger whose words healed a wound no one knew about. These weren't lucky accidents, they were heavenly appointments organized just for you. Until today, you've been looking right past the divine, seeing only ordinary people in everyday places. Now the curtain pulls back and suddenly those chance encounters make perfect sense as part of a beautiful plan. Starting today, nothing looks the same. The grocery store becomes a potential meeting place with the divine. Bus rides transform into opportunities for heavenly messages. Work conversations might contain wisdom straight from above. This revelation won't wait forever. Something special about today makes it possible for you to see what's been invisible until now. If you'd heard this yesterday, it wouldn't have clicked. Tomorrow might be too late to recognize the divine visitors already walking through your life. People who discover this truth report feeling completely different, like waking up in a world filled with magic hiding in plain sight. Hit that like button right now if you want to activate this special vision. Your simple action tells the universe you're ready to spot divine visitors in your everyday life. Angels and heavenly beings are literally watching your screen right now, waiting to see if you'll accept this invitation to recognize them when they appear in human form. Drop a comment saying "My eyes are open" to signal you're ready to spot the divine hiding in ordinary people. The moment you write these words, a switch flips in your awareness and you'll start noticing things that were invisible before. This message found you today for a reason. Of all the millions of videos you could be watching right now, you landed here because it's your time to discover who's really been visiting you all along. Pay attention now. What I'm about to share will forever change how you see the strangers in your life. Let me ask you something personal. Have you ever met someone who knew exactly what you needed to hear without you saying a word? That's sign number one of divine encounters happening right under your nose. Remember when that random person showed up with exactly what you needed? Or when a stranger's casual comment answered the exact question you'd been struggling with privately? These weren't coincidences, they were heavenly appointments disguised as normal days. Right, I've had these meetings if you're starting to recognize these divine moments in your past. Your memory is lighting up right now with examples as you think back on people who seemed weirdly tuned into your unspoken thoughts. The evidence is hiding in plain sight. Did conversations with certain people leave you feeling unusually peaceful? Did some encounters fill you with unexpected hope during dark times? Did particular interactions provide guidance that later proved life-changing? The divine leaves fingerprints that become obvious once you know what to look for. What's happening is bigger than random luck. These encounters delivered packages of divine help customized specifically for you. The words spoken contained answers to prayers you might have never even said out loud. Think about people whose eyes seemed unusually kind or whose presence felt strangely calming. Remember conversations that touched you deeply for reasons you couldn't explain. Consider advice that seemed oddly perfect for your situation though you hadn't explained it. These moments stand out in your memory because they weren't ordinary human interactions, they were brushes with the divine world. Have you noticed how these special encounters always happen at just the right moment? That's another clue pointing to their true source. Look back at the timeline of these meetings. They cluster around major decision points in your life. They appear before big changes. They show up during your darkest hours. This perfect timing isn't random, it's evidence of heavenly scheduling. Ask yourself, when did that meaningful stranger appear in your life? Right when you needed guidance? Just before a major decision? Exactly when hope was running out? Type the timing was perfect if you're remembering encounters that happened at strangely significant moments. The pattern becomes clear when you map these meetings against your life events. Divine visitors arrive precisely when their message or assistance will have maximum impact. Not a day too early or a minute too late. Some of these divine meetings prepared you for challenges you didn't even know were coming. Others provided healing exactly when your heart was finally ready to receive it. The timing reveals the intelligence behind these encounters. Think about conversations that suddenly made sense months later. Consider meetings that only in retrospect revealed their importance. Remember advice that initially seemed irrelevant but later proved crucial. The divine operates on a timeline that often only becomes clear looking backward. The moment you're watching this video was also divinely timed. You're here because now is when you're finally ready to recognize these encounters for what they truly are, heavenly appointments that have been scheduled throughout your life. Here's where it gets fascinating. God doesn't usually appear with a halo and wings. The divine shows up wearing the most unexpected disguises imaginable. That homeless person asking for change? The irritating coworker? The child who said something surprisingly wise? The elderly stranger on the bus? Any of these might have been divine visitors in disguise, bringing messages crafted specifically for you. Comment I see through disguises now if you're beginning to recognize how clever these divine costumes really are. The perfect disguise is one you'd never suspect, which is why God often appears in forms we might initially dismiss or overlook. The divine frequently chooses the most overlooked people as messengers. The janitor might carry more heavenly wisdom than the CEO. The quiet student might be more divinely connected than the teacher. The person everyone ignores might be the very one carrying your specific divine message. Even difficult people might be divine messengers in disguise. That person who frustrated you might have been delivering exactly the lesson or growth opportunity heaven knew you needed. The divine often hides in challenging packages that we would never suspect. The most powerful divine encounters often come from the least expected sources. A stranger's casual comment might contain the exact wisdom you've been searching for. A child's innocent question might unlock understanding you've sought for years. A seemingly random meeting might change your entire life direction. Starting today, look more carefully at the ordinary people crossing your path. The divine rarely announces its presence with trumpets and light shows, it whispers through human voices and watches through human eyes. Now let's talk about what God has been telling you through these encounters. The messages are hiding in plain sight within conversations you thought were ordinary. Think about advice that struck you deeply. Words that gave you chills. Questions that stopped you in your tracks. Comments that somehow addressed exactly what you were dealing with. These weren't just helpful words, they were divine messages delivered through human messengers. Right, I heard the message if certain words from strangers have stuck with you for years. These weren't forgettable comments, they were heavenly wisdom that landed so powerfully they became permanently etched in your memory. The pattern of these messages tells a story. Notice how similar themes might have appeared through completely different people. See how the guidance built upon itself over time, each message preparing you for the next. Recognize how the advice always pointed toward your highest good, even when it wasn't what you wanted to hear. Some divine messages arrived as warnings that protected you from harm. Others came as encouragement precisely when your spirit was breaking. Many appeared as insights that expanded your understanding at exactly the right moment. The variety shows the personalized care behind these communications. Words that came through divine encounters carry unusual power. They sink deeper than ordinary advice. They work on multiple levels simultaneously. They continue revealing new meanings as you grow. They contain wisdom beyond what the speaker could have known to share. Pay attention to words that gave you goosebumps or brought unexpected tears. These physical reactions were your body recognizing divine truth before your mind caught up. Did you know your connection with the divine follows unique patterns? God communicates with you differently than with anyone else because your relationship is completely personal. Some people receive divine visitors through dreams. Others encounter them during nature walks. Many find them in chance meetings with strangers. Your pattern of divine encounters reveals the special language God uses to communicate with you specifically. Type I recognize our language if you're starting to see your unique connection pattern. This insight is game-changing because it helps you spot future divine encounters more easily by recognizing the signature style of how God approaches you. Pay attention to where these meetings usually happen. Do divine encounters find you in bookstores, coffee shops, during travel, while helping others? These locations form part of your personal connection code with the divine. Notice which types of people most often carry divine messages to you. Are they children? Elderly folks? People in service positions? Intellectual types? Creative individuals? The divine knows exactly which messengers you're most likely to listen to and uses them accordingly. Even your emotional reactions provide clues. Does divine presence make you feel peaceful, energized, emotional, clear-headed? These feelings are your personal alarm system alerting you to heavenly visitors. Your connection is built on trust developed through countless interactions across your lifetime. Each divine encounter has been strengthening this bond, creating an increasingly clear channel for communication. The wonderful truth is that God has been patiently establishing this relationship with you through perfectly designed encounters tailored to your unique personality, learning style, and specific needs. Here's what happens next. As you start recognizing these divine encounters, new abilities begin awakening inside you. Your spiritual senses sharpen in ways you never thought possible. First, you'll notice your intuition becoming stronger. That gut feeling that tells you when someone is more than they appear to be. The inner knowing that certain meetings aren't accidental. The quiet voice that draws your attention to specific people or conversations. These intuitive hits become more frequent and accurate. Comment: my awareness is expanding if you've already noticed your perception changing while watching this video. The mere recognition of divine encounters triggers a cascade of spiritual awakening. You'll start noticing meaningful coincidences everywhere. The same themes appearing in conversations with different people. Numbers or symbols repeating in significant patterns. Names or ideas showing up repeatedly from unrelated sources. These synchronicities confirm you're tuning into divine communication. Your dream life often transforms next. Dreams become more vivid, meaningful, and instructive. Divine visitors sometimes appear the first, preparing you for physical encounters that follow. Pay attention to faces in your dreams that later show up in your waking life. Another developing ability is discernment, knowing immediately which encounters carry divine significance and which are simply ordinary interactions. This spiritual filter saves tremendous energy by helping you focus on truly meaningful connections. Perhaps most importantly, you'll develop the ability to recognize divine presence in real time rather than only in retrospect. This immediate awareness allows you to engage more consciously with the messages being delivered, asking clarifying questions and receiving deeper guidance. Something magical happens once you start recognizing divine encounters in your own life. You begin helping others see them too. You become a divine pointer, helping friends spot heavenly visitors they've been missing. You'll notice yourself asking questions that help others recognize the divine hiding in their everyday experiences. Wasn't it strange how that person knew exactly what you needed? Have you noticed how perfectly timed that meeting was? These simple questions open others' eyes to divine activity all around them. Right, I'll help others see if you feel drawn to sharing this awareness with people in your life. This ripple effect multiplies the impact of divine encounters exponentially as each person you help begins helping others in turn. Your own stories become powerful tools. Sharing your divine encounters gives others permission to acknowledge theirs. Many people have had these experiences but dismissed them as coincidence or imagination because they had no framework for understanding what really happened. You don't need to use religious language to help others see. Simple observations about timing, meaningful coincidences, or unusually helpful strangers open the door to recognition without forcing specific beliefs on anyone. As you share this awareness, you'll discover that many people are hungry for this perspective. They've sensed something more happening in certain encounters but lacked confirmation from someone else who sees it too. Your conversations naturally shift as this awareness grows. You start asking different questions. You listen for divine fingerprints in others' stories. You notice when God is trying to reach someone through the people around them. This heightened awareness makes you a more effective connector in the divine communication network. All these divine encounters point towards something bigger. They reveal important clues about your unique purpose in this world. The pattern of these meetings creates a map leading to your most meaningful contribution. Look at which themes repeatedly appear in these encounters. What topics keep coming up? What needs do you repeatedly find yourself meeting? What problems do you naturally solve for others? These patterns reveal divine fingerprints guiding you toward your purpose. Type "I see my direction" if certain patterns are becoming clear to you now. This clarity isn't accidental, it's the culmination of divine guidance that's been pointing you in specific directions your entire life. Notice which divine encounters generated the strongest emotional response in you. What interactions left you feeling most alive? Most fulfilled? Most connected? These emotional signposts mark important directions on your purpose map. Even encounters that initially seemed negative often contained crucial purpose clues. Challenges that forced growth in specific areas. Difficulties that developed particular strengths. Problems that awakened passion for certain solutions. The divine uses even difficult encounters to shape you for your unique contribution. Your purpose often lies at the intersection of what you love, what you're good at, and what others need. Divine encounters have been strategically developing all three areas, preparing you for work that perfectly fits your specific design. The timing of certain divine meetings marks important activation points in your purpose journey. Encounters that opened doors, sparked new interests, or connected you with key people weren't random, they were divine orchestration moving you steadily toward your highest contribution. Now for the life-changing part. Once you recognize past divine encounters, you can develop ongoing communication with the divine presence that's been visiting you all along. This isn't just about past meetings, it's about establishing continuous connection. Start by creating quiet moments throughout your day to acknowledge divine presence. These don't require formal prayer or religious settings. Simply pause briefly to inwardly say "I recognize you're here" while going about normal activities. Comment "I welcome ongoing connection" if you're ready to transform occasional divine encounters into continuous communion. This simple intention opens channels that allow uninterrupted communication to develop naturally. Practice looking at everyone with fresh eyes, wondering if divine presence might be visiting through them today. This expectant awareness creates an open invitation for more frequent divine encounters. Begin asking questions during your day and watching for answers that might come through unexpected sources. What should I focus on today? Who needs my help? What's my next step? Then pay attention to insights that arrive through conversations, media, or seemingly random sources. Notice how nature often becomes the primary connection point. Many people report feeling divine presence more easily outdoors among trees, near water, or under open sky. These settings naturally thin the barrier between worlds, making communication flow more easily. Journaling accelerates this ongoing communion. Recording divine encounters helps you recognize patterns you might otherwise miss and creates a record that strengthens your trust in this communication channel. The most beautiful part is how ordinary life transforms through this awareness. Mundane activities become opportunities for divine connection. Everyday conversations carry deeper meaning. Regular people become potential messengers. Life itself becomes an ongoing divine encounter. Here's the ultimate truth that changes everything. These divine encounters reveal that the separation between heaven and earth isn't nearly as solid as we thought. The divine world interacts with our everyday reality constantly through people we meet. The greatest purpose behind these encounters isn't just to deliver specific messages or help for particular situations. It's to gradually open your eyes to divine presence that's been here all along, not just in special moments or certain people, but everywhere, all the time. Type I see clearly now as you embrace this final revelation. The divine hasn't been visiting occasionally, it's been continuously present, sometimes concentrating its energy through specific people to help you recognize what's always been true. This understanding transforms everything. Grocery stores become sacred spaces. Work meetings hold divine potential. Family gatherings offer spiritual communion. Every human interaction contains the possibility of divine connection. You've been living in a world absolutely saturated with divine presence, but seeing only fragments of it until now. Today marks the beginning of clear vision that recognizes the sacred reality behind ordinary appearances. Your life will never be the same. From this moment forward, you'll walk through each day with eyes wide open, recognizing divine encounters not as rare events, but as glimpses of